On this video, Thursday, 16th of February 2012, it is 3:12 p.m. Don't know why I didn't wait for the close of trade, but anyway, to see the final numbers. Just want to get this video out. Nasdaq. Now, I said a few days ago on this better X trend chart on the Nasdaq, the last time that we got exhaustion buying and trailed the stop up was kind of mid-January, and then with today's activity, we've now got that exhaustion buying kind of bar come up on the better X trend with the Nasdaq and trailed the stop up. So that's pretty interesting. So all of a sudden, and you could maybe see it in the Apple activity kind of yesterday and today. Yesterday went to 525, today went below 500, and then closed up above 500 today. Who was using that? That was kind of a real sign of weakness up at 525 yesterday, and then as other pros using the bounce back up today to kind of get out. So just be really careful on this. It wasn't exactly exhaustion buying day. This bar's not finished though on that ES chart, so we'll kind of wait and see. But better trend systems have rolled over. I think for me the more important kind of cyclical turning points are happening on the weekly charts on all the risk on and risk off markets, and they're kind of due in the next 10 days or so on the weekly chart. So I think we're kind of at this kind of ticking up, just trying to find that high, and up at these 1350 areas. I've kind of said it's kind of an area where we've kind of lost it previously after exhaustion buying into here. Bearish divergence comes in, we sell off. Very weak buying each time we come into 50s. Now, yesterday we had a sell-off that ended up with exhaustion selling. Bullish divergence pattern kind of comes in. We bounce back up, but relatively weak buying here. Blue professional bars. When we look at the 13,500 tip bar chart, Rambo patterns up here. Rambo. So, and are these blue professional bars, up at 50 where they were kind of getting short yesterday? Are they kind of taking profits this time around? It's not an exhaustion signal, but it's kind of it's less than. So, I suppose let's see when this kind of comes back down and tests these areas. Does it hold, or does it just keep kind of coming through? So we'll kind of wait and see. Yesterday I was pretty annoyed. I was getting short all of yesterday after let me show you the 4,500 tip bar chart. With yesterday's activity, we had all of this kind of activity until we sold off into this really nice move, and kind of got short early in the day, didn't work out, so kind of exited a trade, 2.5 point loss. Went long, and then that wasn't working out, so I exited at par and went to bed because I'd stayed up watching TV way too late the night before, so I was knackered. And of course, literally 20 minutes after I hit the sack, bang, got this sell-off that I was kind of waiting for all morning. So annoying. Today's activity, so we had this kind of sell-off yesterday overnight into Rambo patterns here, and you can see we get exhaustion selling in this move. Bullish divergence comes in, all these bullish divergence patterns kind of coming at these lows. And I always say when they kind of line up like this, you're always waiting for some kind of final sudden move down. Usually ends up being a flush pattern or some kind of other exhaustion pattern, but a more serious kind of selling, and this happens on the tops as well. We can get kind of bearish divergence patterns, but then we got that today, and it was like Byron, one of the subscribers, my subscribers, calls us a crazy Ivan. I think we actually saw a couple today. So where the market kind of just takes off in the other direction really quickly, we get some kind of exhaustion selling signal here, and that was kind of the mirror to this move where we needed to test down. All the sellers have sold at that point, and bang, this just puts us into a rally. And then the first initial kind of exhaustion buying signal is everybody reversing and going the other way here, and then as we move to overbought type levels, we get another exhaustion buying signals, and we start to roll over as we get kind of bearish divergence patterns like that. But just look for these kind of lining up on all time frames. When you see these little divergence patterns lining up, watch out for a kind of a sudden move in this other direction. It goes the other way. Got this kind of the other crazy Ivan. So on the 1500 tip bar chart, I didn't know which way the market was going. So here's this kind of sell-off where we find support at 1340, kind of test the lows basically, kind of get all the sellers out. We start to rally on. I was unclear as to what I thought the trend direction was kind of early on, so I hadn't taken a trade. And then this thing kind of, I suppose, took me a little bit by surprise. We had the Philly Fed survey numbers come out at 9 o'clock, and we had blue professional bars here broken to the high. And so on this little retrace here, Emini down bar got long. Just any kind of sign of weakness was kind of good enough to kind of get in, and took profits with a Rambo pattern up here just at 1.5. Entered back in long a little bit too early at that blue professional bar. I thought the high was going to get broken, and I just jumped in a little bit too early. Should have been waiting for the support to kind of come in this blue professional bar. Here, when the high of that one gets taken out, that's a nice little sell-up with bullish divergence, weak selling going on here, bang, into the end of this move. Anyway, so as in long, we kind of started moving in this direction, and then bang, got hit 2.5 or something points, went the other way very, very quickly. I'll tag on the recording because you can hear me like, stunned silence what's going on here. But this is what, one of these kind of crazy Ivans. It's after the Hunt for Red October movie in 1990, where the Russian captain kind of just switches the submarine around kind of suddenly in order to, I think it's to use his sonar or something like that, but it's like it freaks you out all of a sudden, and then it kind of goes the other way. And so you got me on tape kind of being freaked out, and then you can see how this move kind of consolidates on the lower time frames, with the professionals kind of come in at that low, understanding that that's kind of been tested really well there with that kind of crazy Ivan move. All the sellers will have just been freaked out and been starting to go short there, and of course that's the signal to go long. Anyway, and then we kind of break up through these kind of resistance areas at previous swing highs, and then the move just gets explodes higher with exhaustion buying signals, and we finally kind of roll up. But remember, we get these end of trend kind of signals midday. If we were going to have a reversal day, it would have happened before 11 o'clock, and so because of that into lunchtime, the market's not going to as it almost doesn't have time to kind of make a reversal, so we're just going to be topping out the rest of the day. It's going to be choppy activity, kind of hitting these highs, making slightly new highs, and so on, and just that's not worth trading. So once I'm got onto this move, kind of out with another 2.5 points out for 2 trades, me done for the day. But anyway, I'll tag on that crazy Ivan, and thanks to Byron for that naming convention, because I quite like that. It's exactly what it feels like. Anyway, I hope you traded well today, and I'll tag on these day trades. Long 44.50, long 44.50, and just been waiting for some kind of weakness to get in on this uptrend. The reason for getting in now, Emini down bar on 1500 tip bar chart. On the 500 you can see just a blue professional bar kind of came in, we just kind of broke above the blue professional bar there. So we had this weakness initially, exhaustion buying, blue professional bars kind of coming, and then big sell-off for the Philly Fed survey numbers kind of came off into kind of an extreme selling situation, and we've just rallied from there. Philly Fed numbers kind of came out here, and we kind of kept on breaking above the high of those blue professional bars. So we've come into Rambo patterns, so some kind of weakness here. We couldn't kind of get through 45, and so we kind of came back in. We got support coming back here, Emini down bar. So we're guessing the uptrend is in place. We've not had exhaustion buying on the upside here, so just looking for any kind of sign of weakness to kind of get in. So anyway, so short as long from 44.50. See if we continue to break up above 45. Here we go, breaking up to 46s. First kind of blue professional bars kind of up here. So you can just see that weakness here. So exhaustion buying at the moment on 500, but no blue professional bars at the highs here, kind of signaling taking profit. So hopefully the uptrend's still in place. Broke up to 46.5, kind of started to slow down, but again, no blue professional bars up here. I know this reading that this little spike that we had on better momentum is about 8,000, which is normally some kind of exhaustion signal, but it's kind of reacting off this. This was a reading of negative 18,000, so it's like all the sellers sold at that point, and we're just kind of bouncing from there. So Yeah, we need to see something that kind of shows that blow-off move, but just conscious on the 13,500 tip bar chart, we're coming into a resistance kind of area, pullback and a downtrend, so it's like this is kind of the breakdown support area on the 13,500 tip bar chart from yesterday, kind of in this kind of late 40s. So at some point we'll roll over, but let's see, we need to see, I think, a final push. Target's at 48.50, so just out of 46 even. For 1.5. No, just getting a little bit nervous about this. Just Rambo pattern in here. It's an end of trend on the 500 tip bar chart with kind of flush signal here. So exhaustion, first bearish divergence, and flush. And just because we've had this bearish divergence kind of come in here, so you know, if we come down to form a support level on 15 and then kind of make pullback to end of trend on 45, which then coincides with this cyclical resistance here, it's a possibility. On 46 even. And long 46 even. The reason for getting long right now, so blue professional bar kind of come in at these lows, 1500 tip bar chart, so just kind of retraced a little bit. Could be getting in early because of cyclical support kind of hasn't come in, but on this push down, blue professional bars, another blue professional bar kind of comes in. Initially we were kind of just about to break the highs of that. So again, because we've not seen kind of real blow-off activity on 1500 or blue professional bars on the highs, still think we're going to kind of break above 47s. Anyway, so just in at 46 even, another blue professional bar, we're coming to the lows of that. Come on, come on, come on. Should have waited for this, but let's see. So I definitely should have waited for a better entry than that. Should have waited for the break of the high, or at least the break of the high on the 500 tip bar chart. But anyway, so resistance becomes support here at 44.5. So bouncing back up, but it's amateur up bars. And let's just wait and see. Tempted to just get out at par at 46. Okay, it's coming back up. Let's see what this ends up. So here's support, amateur up bar. So it's just showing the weakness here. And yeah, let's just wait and see what happens around here. Whether we just roll over or kind of test 47. Okay, just moving the target to 48.50. Looks like we're going to try and break 47s, but you know, I just feel it's a little okay. Kind of just coming into cyclical. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Movement target now to 46. Let's hope might be able to just get out on a little bit of a bounce. I just moved it back up to 48.50, and that was a little odd. Yeah, 10:08 a.m. Chicago time. Could have just been kind of freaking people out. Certainly freaked me out. Got bullish divergence kind of come in here, bullish divergence here. You know, if we don't tumble down now, we'll go back and retest the highs. A whole bunch of people would have kind of gone short just seeing that maybe, and just, you know, they'll have stops to be run. So let's just wait and see. Okay, here we go. A little bit of line in the sand at 44 here. So blue professional bars kind of come back in. This little amateur down bar, amateurs are trying to get short on a break of 44. We're kind of breaking above this blue professional kind of series here. So blue professional bar, 1500 tip bar chart, kind of running up. This is what Byron calls a crazy Ivan, which I really like. It's from Red October, the movie. So I think it's Red October anyway, where you get this kind of freak down move. Everybody kind of freaks out, including me. and it's just kind of freaking out the sellers, and now we're kind of heading back up, so we should break 47. Everybody will be expecting this thing to go down and have their stops kind of up here, so we'll run those stops and kind of keep going through 47. At least that's the plan. So at the moment, cyclical support's holding on 1500 tip bar chart. Let's kind of keep this going. Broken up to 45.5. Let's keep going, please. Okay, here we go. 46.5. We just kind of sold off a little bit, but it's too tempting. 47s, there's going to be a whole bunch of stops there, so let's get there, let's get through them. 48.50 is my target. Could see that on a blow-off move, holding out with this cyclical kind of swing on the 1500 tip bar chart. So not too worried about that Rambo pattern there, just right here. This will be, it's a technical kind of point. Just found a little bit of weakness. People think, oh, I'll sell this double top, blah blah blah. No, we're going to come back through it, run those stops, go through 47, run those. Here we go. So we popped to 47, and there we go. There they get run. Let's hope for a little bit of follow through. Okay, it's 8,000 on better momentum here. That's kind of reading that you kind of expect a little bit of exhaustion top. We're broken to new highs, so we've got a bunch of stops just sitting here at between 47, 48. We just had a little bit of weakness. We came back up to back down to 46s. Now we're back up at 47s. Hit a bunch of stops, kind of going a little bit exponential here. Come on, 48.5. Rambo pattern again up here. It's losing a little bit of steam, must admit. And we've got cyclical resistance coming on the 1500 tip bar chart, but just looking for that final little push out. 48.50. Excellent for another 2.5. Just gives me 4 after 2 trades. There's a poor entry on the 46 because I was entering on this blue professional bar here. Here we go, 49s. Exhaustion, buying 8,000s. Look at it, it's looking epileptic. What do I mean? Not epileptic, I mean parabolic. 17,000 on better momentum here. So that was my entry. Poor entry, should have been waiting for cyclical kind of support. Bang, and then we had Crazy Ivan kind of come in here, test the lowest. Blue professional bars kind of come in, bang. We go up to, it's almost reached 1350. So there we go. Classic. And all basically coming off this kind of reading down here on 1500 tip bar chart, spike down, bang. And this kind of reading on better momentum is kind of equivalent of that. So that's the basis for the move. 10:37 a.m. Chicago time. That's me done. Hope you had a good day's trading.